Alright, how's it going tonight, everybody? Back here for update report. This is Gregtech 6.03.12. And first thing is not something that's in the changelog, but I'm not sure if it's actually a update feature or if it's kind of a bug, but I wanted to make sure people were aware of it. And that is carbon dust now has a flammable tag on it, which I don't remember it having before. And I'm going to throw it in here, and if you notice it says melts at 3800, boils at 4300. We turn this on here and it's gone at 300. That's going to be a problem because then you can't use it for making tungsten carbide. You can't use it to make steel. But if you look in here at uses for it, in combination smelting, you're supposed to be able to use it to process iron, and you're supposed to be able to use it to make steel, and you're supposed to be able to use it to make tungsten carbide. So I'm not sure if this is just a bug or what, but it's kind of going to be a pain to figure out how to do this. Now, graphite, which is basically carbon, does not have that tag. And dark ash, from what I can tell, I don't have any over here on this side, but I do not believe dark ash has that tag either. Yeah, see, it doesn't have the tag either. Again, melts at 3800, where graphite, it melts at 2000 into carbon. So if I put that in here, let's go ahead and grab 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12. I'm going to throw 3 of these in here with it, or 12 of these in here with it. I'm going to let that run and see if we can actually make steel. And I believe that when that turns at 2000 to carbon, that it's going to evaporate, and the only thing we're going to get out of here is wrought iron. So hopefully this is just a bug, and hopefully it'll be fixed in tomorrow's bug fix update, Greg. Or, maybe this is something he's implementing because he's going to add a blast furnace soon or something. Who knows? First thing on the list is something I don't quite know exactly what it is. It's fixed spray tooltips in edge cases. I really don't know exactly what that is. But I know that somebody was talking about spray cans and wanting them to make sure that they lose their MBT data, like the sea foams here, so they can stack afterwards. And I'm wondering if that's what it is, but I'm not positive. If anybody has any clue, let me know. And I'm sure if Greg watches this, he'll let me know if I'm right or wrong, and I'll let you guys know next time. Next is basic machines not pulling fluids from the appropriate side properly. Go ahead and knock this up to 2057. It's only at 900, so let's go check this fix out. I do believe I showed this in the last video, that there was an issue with this pulling, which now it's automatically all the way up to 40. So apparently when it fixed, it auto fixed itself because it was stuck. So I'm going to run this a little bit and see if it still does it when it gets low, but apparently that has been fixed. So it will now pull out of fluid containers appropriately. Come back over here and check the heat. Next is the added a new machine, which is the laser welder. This is a nice addition. It gives you a way of making double, triple, quadruple plates. Uses a stained clay, an aluminum machine casing, some yellow shade lens, and then aluminum screws, small aluminum gears, and 2 circuits, and that makes your welder. It's powered by the laser, which is only this laser here, the CO2 laser, I do believe. As if you see, it says laser welder takes LU per tick. This says it produces LU per tick. So it's not the crazy, Buildcraft laser. It's just going to be the CO2 laser, which is not difficult to make. So this will be something you can make somewhat early on, and that'll save a lot on hammers. The welder itself comes in the regular flavors of electrical machines, from aluminum. This should be galvanized, and then stainless, and your chromium and your titanium. So you got your 5 usual flavors from LV up to tier 5, which is Ivy. Let's see, LV, MV, HV, EV, Ivy, if I'm remembering them correctly. Which apparently he has now changed them to tier levels rather than voltage levels, which is a new change that I did not realize until just then. Let's see, next on the list is the added making dye fluids mixable, and I just heard that evaporate, so let's check. That was at 2000, and it's now just wrought iron. So yeah, you cannot make steel right now. Anyways, fluids can be mixed now for the dyes. Now there are a few that you can't do, like yellow dye can be mixed with red dye to make orange. Let's see, should be able to mix blue and green to make cyan. So white dye and black dye can be mixed to gray dye. Now the black dye has to come from carbon. I guess you can do an ink sac. You can't use just ink though. It has to be the water mixed, or it has to go to the other. So if you run it through a squeezer, which doubles it and gives you 288, then you have ink, and you can't mix that with white dye. But you can make it into the chemical black, and then you can mix it with chemical white and get your chemical gray. But as far as the squid ink, you cannot do it that way. But the black dye, I do believe, let's go look at, where's the fluid one? Should be able to mix that. Even though it's a generified one, you still should be able to throw that in a mixer with water. But maybe not. But see, you got carbon and 144 water. You get 216 black dye, so you're not really doubling it up there. And if we look at just the black dye here, creating it, you can do carbon and an ink sac, but again, it's an ink sac, which is 144 the water, so you get 216 rather than making the ink of 288. So it's all about, do you want to be able to mix it, or do you want a lot more of it? How rare is it for you to get ink sacs, or do you want to just use carbon to make your black dye? But they're all nice and mixable. You can do the water-based or the chemical-based. Some of them are a little more difficult to do the chemical, or without doing it the chemical way. Let's see. Indigo and ink are the two that don't have categories that have to be made into chemical dyes in order to mix them. The fluid tanks to an ender garbage bin is now possible. If you remember a couple updates ago, there was a garbage can that goes into, why'd I put ender? A garbage dimension. This right here is the garbage bin. You can now pump fluids into it that'll go into that dimension that can be pulled out through the dump, which has to be spawned in by an admin. There is no recipe, or you have to mind tweak a recipe in for it. Let's see, this thing is now completely out. Let's go ahead and turn it back on, place the drum on, see if it automatically takes it out while the power is connected, if it checks. And if not, we'll switch it and see if it does it then. But this can take a little bit when the power is connected to check. And let's go look at what else we have here. Next is the sulfuric acid related processing. I was looking at some of these recipes earlier, and it sort of looks like this is going to be a way of getting the lower rarity. You see it did automatically pull it, but there wasn't enough in there to run, but it did go up to 2 and the drum is now full. So nice to see that that's now fixed. Anyways, this looks like a way of getting more of a lower rarity out of something than it would be getting a higher rarity. I'll explain it here with platinum first. If you put platinum, purified platinum ore in a bath with sulfuric acid, you're going to get a 50% chance of 3 refined platinum ore, a cyan vitral fluid, and hydrogen. That cyan fluid can then be electrolyzed, which is going to take 2 processes worth to do it, and you'll get a piece of nickel, sulfur, and oxygen out. Now, if we actually ran this through a thermal centrifuge, we would get a tiny pile of iridium. if we ran it through a magnetic separator, we would get a 50% chance of 2 nickel. And if we smashed it, shredded it, then we could electrolyze it to get a tiny piece of iridium, or centrifuge it for a tiny piece of iridium. So if you don't need that iridium, then it would be better to do it this way if you're actually needing more platinum, because you get a chance at your platinum, the same thing, and then you get, nickel as well, which is the lower rarity rather than the higher rarity. One that I actually seen in here that does kind of look like something that I would do, because personally I'd much rather have the iridium, so I don't think I'd do the platinum that way, would be this one here, purified tantalite. You can get 3 tiny things, at a 50% chance of tantalite, this gray vitral fluid and hydrogen, and then this will give you manganese, where if you do it this way and run it through a thermal centrifuge, you'll get niobium, which doesn't have a whole lot of use. Or if you shred it, you're going to get tantalum, which doesn't have a whole lot of use, but is more rare. Or centrifuging it, you're going to get niobium again. Again, more rare, but not as necessary not as useful. Oh, sorry, I got something caught in my throat. So it all depends not only on the rarity of the material, but just how useful said material is. And you'll see you have a lot of these different colors. Mainly from what I can see, the colors are basically just different things that you can get out of them. Like the red is for cobalt. Not quite sure how red and cobalt work together, but that's what that one is. Green is for iron. So anything that would give an iron byproduct, you're going to get a green fluid. So you're going to have to use filters or have separate electrolyzers for each one of these fluids to go into. But again, you may not be doing a lot of them. You may be going through the regular processing chain, or using the bath with aqua regia, or mercury or potassium, or not potassium sulfate. Crap, what is that thing called? Sodium persulfide. Yeah, sodium persulfide. I didn't think that's right. Anyways, let's go look at what else we have today. A lot more tags for materials, especially elements. More of a background thing, though. Not real sure. Let's look up iron, because that's an element. And I don't really see where anything has changed on it. And, see if there's any more rare ones like iridium, if it has anything extra on it. I'm not real sure what the tag is that's supposed to be added. I also noticed that most of the being able to pick things up, like molds and chests and mass storages and things like that now have a mining level of 0 because it's not an ore, which is really nice because I had to make a tungsten carbide pick to get my old tungsten molds picked up, and I noticed a while back that I didn't have to, so that's a nice thing that I forgot to mention. I noticed it earlier today. There's another thing that I noticed that was added that I think I had forgotten to show in an update video. I do believe I showed it in a regular video though, and that is lava can be centrifuged to get a chance at all of these nice things, mainly tungsten and tin, copper, or he added so you can do peho lava in a centrifuge, gives the same chance, uses the same amount of power, but it can be ran through a liquid heat exchanger from IC2 to give you power. So you can get the power off of the heat from it, then you can centrifuge it as well, so you don't have to just lose your chance at the power from the heat. And let's see, zirconium and hafnium as byproducts of titanium and tin related ores, so that they are available even if I don't plan to use them right now. I thought zirconium was something they made diamonds out of. Wonder if he's going to add a way of making fake diamonds. So there's zirconium, which is now cassiterite sand will give you cassiterite and a tiny pile of zirconium, so that's going to be the same for tin and things like that. And let's see, titanium, which there is no actual titanium typically. You can write it in. There is no rutile at the moment either. So ilmenite though, which is the titanium getting ore, will now give you zirconium if it's electrolyzed. Centrifuge, you get rutile, and rutile then can be smelted or electrolyzed for titanium with a little bit of oxygen. So that's your zirconium, which doesn't really have a use. You can see there's no tools or crucibles or anything like that at the moment. And then, was it Duranium? No, if it wasn't that one. Let's look again here. Oh, hafnium. I've never even heard of this one. But there's your hafnium, which is going to be from electrolyzing hafnium dust. Let's see, sifting zirconium. Ore byproduct zirconium ore, which as far as I know doesn't exist at the moment. This is going to be all the different hafnium ores. Centrifuging just the two hafnium, so not quite sure where those are coming into play at here. They're supposed to be from some frickin' where. But since they don't have a use, I'm not real worried about it. Alright, so Let's see. Alternate mining laser recipe was added. This will be nice because we won't have to have that stupid turning table, even if it's more expensive. So now you use a carbon dioxide laser emitter, ruby lens, some titanium plates, advanced alloy, an advanced circuit, energy crystal, titanium screw, and screwdriver. But he still hasn't changed this daggone thing, so we can make the IC2 drill without this goofy power unit, which I was hoping he would put back in his recipe for the IC2 drill and chainsaw. And then the last thing is he added, I think I got one here in my bag. Yes, I do. Raisins, which are from a new game that just came out. Can't think of the name of it right now. Junior did a live stream of it a while back. They're in it. It's the only thing I can see about them. As useful as dog food, they drop from zombies rarely. So basically, it's like dog food or zombie flesh. I do want to see if you can use them for anything. You can actually use them to make trail mix. They're basically raisins. Spiced rum, raisin cookies. So yeah, they're raisins. You can even make them to make raisin cookies. You can make chocolate covered raisins out of them. So let's try to eat one and see. Oh, I ain't hungry. Damn it. I wanted to eat one. Let's see if you got any effects like hunger or anything like you do the rotten flesh. But anyways, that's our update video for this week. If anybody knows anything about carbon and what's up with steel, let me know. Hopefully I can get to talk to Greg in the morning and he will explain what the problem is or why it seems to be a problem, and we will go from there. I will let you know if it gets fixed in the next little update. I'll make sure to make a little video to let everybody know. I'm going to head back over to the other side of the server now and get my butt to work trying to progress over there. So have a great day and see you next time, and hope you ain't gotta make any steel right now.